In today's video, I'm going to do a raised stencil, a bit of an antique look on a flower pot, and we're not going to put a flower in it. So I'm using a spackle set from Hamilton's, the Enzyme brush, some plaster primer to primer the pot. Okay, so with the section of stencil I want to use, I cut it out smaller so it would fit onto the pot quite nicely. Sprayed contact spray behind the stencil, let it get sticky, tacky, and I stuck it down as flat as possible to the pot. I'm using the 50mm spackle blade here. It comes in a set of 4 in a 50, 80, 100 and 120mm, and these are carbon steel blades, ideal for applying spackle or a ready-mix filler, putty, etc. So I'm smearing this ready-made filler. You get stencil paste in that, but a ready-made filler works just as well. And I'm filling it over the stencil so that I get a raised finish. I leave it for, once applied, I leave it for about, I'd say, 20-30 minutes. Pull away. Ah, beautiful. And now, with the blade, I just scrape off the excess filler that I don't want. And once done, I'm now ready to primer the whole pot with a water-based plaster primer. I also found a little bit more of another stencil that I cut, and that's the side sort of leaves that branch off the Café de Paris, just to give it character. Once all dried, about half an hour or so, I'm priming the pot. If you're painting raw flower pots, always put a plaster primer on. It's the key coat that holds the paint to the flower pot long term. So I'm priming the whole pot over my stencil and the pot with a nice coat, one nice coat of plaster primer. I'm going to leave that overnight before I start doing my technique. Okay, so now I'm painting my pot with a low sheen, washable, water-based PVA, and I'm going to give it 2 coats, 4 hours between the coats. So 2 coats of a nice washable paint, 4 hours between the coats. Okay, now with a coarse sanding pad, you can use sandpaper 80-100 grit, but I like the sanding pad, and I just give it a good sand in places over the raised stencil part, so the white filler comes through, the terracotta comes through, just really aging it. Okay, this is where Hamilton's blending brush comes in. It's a nice wide soft brush for softening a paint technique, and I've made up a antiquing medium that's in that little pot. It's scumble glaze tinted with a little bit of raw umber, which you buy in the paint store. These are universal tinters. You add just a little bit into some scumble glaze, shake it up well, and you're going to then apply it with a sponge just where you want or all over the pot, and then soften it out with the blending brush. So I wash the antiquing medium on with my sponge. Once I'm done and I'm happy, it'll look a bit busy, but then I take my blending brush and I just lightly sort of feather it out, blend it, soften it. And there we go, pot complete, holding some cutlery. And I think we definitely have the perfect finish we hope you liked. So please subscribe to our channel. Thank you from me, Bernie B.